I'm Effie, and if this is your first time seeing a video from me, I primarily make bookish content, but cross stitch has been a part of my life since I was a child, and I often cross stitch whilst listening to audiobooks, so it just made sense for me to branch out into FlossTube. So kind of starting in 2024, I do have a couple of videos in 2023, but 2024 is when I'm like seriously going to be putting up more FlossTube content. So starting in 2024, I'm going to be making more FlossTube content. So basically, this channel is a little bit of a hybrid between BookTube and FlossTube. But as I say, if this is the first time seeing you, hi! So I don't even know why, but I was recently going through my sewing box that I've had since I was a child. So I have cross-stitched for as long as I can remember. I can't remember how old I was when I first started cross-stitching, but like young. So I have like a very kind of cute, childish cross-stitch box. And, you know, by the time I moved out at the age of technically 19, but like the year between 18 and 19, I wasn't home much. So by the time I moved out at 19, I wasn't really cross-stitching as much. So my cross-stitch box was not something that moved with me. And it's only in the last year or two, I don't even remember how long, that my cross-stitch box has moved up here with me. So I thought it'd be maybe fun, I'm not sure, something a bit different if I kind of went through my sewing box from being a child and just kind of talk through what's inside. I am pretty sure that most of what was in here as a child is still in here. I do know that none of my floss is in here. I don't know if that's because I stored it separately or because I came from a household where other people stitched, and at some point someone else who stitched has utilized my floss, which completely fine. Like I didn't really cross stitch for about, 15-20 years, so better than it going to waste. I also think there was originally like a little tray insert at the top of the box to kind of separate, but that's not there anymore. So as I showed you earlier, it's this like box. It's a pretty decent size. It's got a whole heap of dressmaking pins in the lid. I'm not sure if that's from when I was a kid or if I've kind of been using the lid as a pin cushion, because I do have a sewing machine and sometimes I will sew things on the sewing machine. So open it up and we have obviously pin cushion actually inside, although I don't think the needles in there are in great shape. And then in the wee pocket, it's just closing itself, we have a coaster. I never made it, but I think looking through the other things in this box, my intention was to make like an initial coaster, but I think I would like to at some point this year make something for this coaster. I'm not sure what, but it'd be nice to put it to use. I don't know if there's anything else in that pocket. Nope, that's everything in that pocket. And then the rest of the stuff is just higgledy-piggledy. So I'm going to put this on the floor and just pull things out. Okay, so the first thing is the manual for my sewing machine, which I know for a fact is not from when I was a child because I got this sewing machine as an adult. So clearly I'm getting some use out of this sewing box. And then we have this rather raggedy looking pattern that I clearly photocopied out of some kind of sewing magazine. If you saw my start of the year whip parade, you will have seen me talking about this pattern, but this is a one that I literally started as a child and I've decided that I'm going to try and finish. I don't know if this year. I'm actually filming this video before my whip parade, so I don't know what my goals are, but I started this as a child, but I've recently copied it across, so I have a digital version of this, but this is the original photocopied pattern from a cross stitch magazine. So I have no idea how old this pattern is, but old. And then we have our first of potentially many UFOs. I have no idea. Oh gosh, the brightness is too bright. I've also realised that I haven't turned my autofocus on, or auto exposure rather. So I apologise if this video has been flickering. I'm just going to do that now. And let's turn the brightness down a wee bit. So this is the first of many UFOs. We have got a needle and it looks in pretty decent shape, although it's quite blunt, so probably not the best unless you're doing it on, I don't know, doing a project that has only whole stitches and is a larger count fabric, I'd say. Yeah, I have no idea what this was intended to be, but first UFO. We've got a selection of patterns. These are all just paper patterns. Sorry, it's probably still a bit too bright. I'm going to go on this side. Hopefully it's not going to be too bright. I don't know. So it's like slightly corny, slightly cute, but we've got a selection of fun wee patterns here. Some sewing scissors. Hemming web, I presume because my very first job was working at McDonald's, and when they give you uniform trousers, they just give you like, I don't know what is it unhemmed? Basically they're really, really long, and I am notoriously bad like, I can sew, obviously I can sew, this is a FlossTube video, but I'm not very good at making things like the same length, so I would just use like Wonder Web. We've got a hoop, which I'm sure will come in really handy because I only have like quite small hoops, so it's nice to have a bigger hoop to work with. Yeah, is it still gonna? Yeah, it still moves about, so that's going to be quite useful. We have some more patterns. This one is all our yesterdays, and I don't know how many patterns there is. 4 it looks like. So it's stitching and beading, and it looks like it's got quite a lot of information. Oh, it's in multiple languages, but it's got lots of helpful information, which is nice, I guess. I think the thing is, like, a lot of the patterns I get nowadays I get from something like Etsy, so it doesn't go into this level of detail. I mean, I'm not sure these are necessarily my taste, but they're cute, that's for sure. Oh, are they all big? They're all beaded. I didn't realise that. I think, anyway. I think they're primarily, yeah, I think like you cross stitch them, but then you go over them in beads, maybe? Something a bit different. We've got another photocopied pattern from a cross stitch magazine, and in fact, I don't know if you can see, if it's going to be too bright. It's probably too bright. You can possibly just about see, but it says June 2003 cross stitcher, so we know exactly where this pattern's come from. So I mean, it's only 21 years old. Well, almost 21 years old. Gosh, that pattern's a fully grown adult. And then we have some more. So we've got this cute little finished project here of a little mouse. We've got a bookmark. I'm not sure why an R. Like my mother's maiden name started with an R, but beyond that, I don't know any significance to the letter R. I don't know what this was. So we've got another UFO here, and one here. At least I was thrifty with my fabric, I suppose. But it's really cute because, like, I clearly, like, stitched these as very much a child. Also, what I find quite interesting is on the back of this mouse, I've actually got some webbing. I'm not quite sure, like, You'll have to tell me if this is something that is kind of done nowadays, but I haven't seen anyone put webbing on the bag. But fun. And we have a pattern for it's a full kit. So we've got a kit to stitch an M, and let's see if this is another UFO. And yes, it is unfinished. We have half an M. It's a very pretty colour thread, but sorry, it's way too bright, isn't it? Let me see if I can turn it down. There we go. And it's weird because I don't generally grid this way anymore, but like I actually gridded in pencil on this. Sorry, I know I'm probably like really dark now because, you know, to be able to see the white fabric and the white sheets of paper. This I thought was kind of cute. So obviously nowadays we've got CXC where the numbers relate directly to the numbers that DMC threads are. But clearly, like back when I started cross stitching, and there's a date in the bottom corner of this, which is 2001. But back when I started cross stitching, I was using Venus thread, and Venus thread, you needed a conversion chart to know what DMC thread corresponded to what Venus thread. And I just thought this was a fun, almost like time capsule of the wild west that used to be cross stitching in the early aughts. Apparently I really liked Cross Stitcher magazine because we have a Precious Moments pattern, and I mean helpful past me has also included the key, so we know what all of the threads are meant to be. And actually that's a picture of what it's meant to look done. It's cute. Again, I'm not sure it's quite my taste as an adult, but another pattern. We have half a pattern for these singular letters. I'm pretty sure the rest of the letters are not in the box, so I guess I can stitch an E, an F or G, but any other letter I'm out of luck. I don't know what this says. Sorry I forgot, and it's a little elephant. This is a super duper basic, clearly cross stitch for beginners pattern, but it's adorable. What else have we got? We got some tailor's chalk, which I don't know, like I don't super love gridding with tailor's chalk, but like it's useful, and I guess with something like a full coverage, tailor's chalk's going to work quite well. But also I find that it doesn't have the durability that, you know, you like when you've got a grid. And then I think the rest of the things, yeah, maybe. Ooh, useful. Sorry, I was going to say I think the rest of the things in the box are patterns, but I've just found a needle threader, which I think is going to come in really useful for, well, the needles that have got smaller eyes. So I'm going to put this in the little pocket in my sewing box. I've also got a biro because I do, apparently. So let's just run through the rest of the patterns that I've got in my box. A teddy bear. And this is a full kind of pattern. Oh, that's really cute. Sorry, I hope it's focused. But yeah, I think that's a case of like, if you know, you know. Then we've got this one, and I do remember actually sewing this up and looking, it's an ornament, so I don't know if it's something that my parents have on their tree, but I do remember sewing this as a child. We've also got a Winnie the Pooh, which I think was this was a card, so like you stitched the Winnie the Pooh one and then you put it inside a greeting card as an insert, and apparently I've just kept the bit that you popped out so that I could use it as a pattern, I guess. We've also got a pattern for the letter A on very, very heavy duty paper. We have a little snoozely cat. I think there's quite a few cats here actually. A different kind of cat. A koala. I think this is a couple of dolphins. Oh, fun. A butterfly. And it's big. It's bigger than I expected. I think it's just the pattern's big, but I don't know. We have a giant butterfly pattern. A train. Another butterfly. An alphabet, which are always handy. I do like a cheeky alphabet. A punny bunny that says be hoppy. A frog. We have the pattern for that mouse that we found the finished piece for. A very simple bird design. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a... Oh, it is a pig. I can see the next page says it's a pig. So we've got a little basic pig. It just keeps coming. And another teddy bear. So that is everything that was in my childhood sewing box. I'm going to turn the brightness back up a bit so you can see me a bit better. So yeah, those are all the things that were in my childhood sewing box. I think it's interesting as well to see the kind of patterns that I gravitated to as a child. And like, honestly, like they're nothing like the kind of patterns I gravitate to as an adult. Like there's a couple that are kind of aesthetically pleasing, but like generally I don't think I'm going to be cross-stitching a butterfly or some teddy bears or something. If you found this video interesting, please do give it a like to let me know it's the kind of content you might enjoy, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of my FlossTube content. But until next time, love you, happy stitching, and bye!